Hello and welcome to Brands Hatch, the host of the fifth round of the FVR GT Season 5. My name's Nathan, your commentator for this race, bringing you the live action from the British Grand Prix. I say live action, this race happened a while ago, but the plus side of this race happening a while ago is that I have forgotten most of the events that's unfolded. So this will basically be a raw commentary from myself. It's been a while, but we are back here at Brands Hatch. We're not going to waste any time at all, run you through how the grid lined up for this race. Unfortunately, only 10 drivers survived the aftermath of the Red Bull Ring. Not a lot of carnage in that race. The first Stewart's reporting, though, of the season. A couple of penalties handed out after that race in Austria. And so on the fifth row of the grid, we have Weiss in the Mercedes with a 125.2. He starts alongside Kian in 9th place in the Porsche. It's a bit of a banking down the start-finish straight, but Tim qualifies in 8th place ahead of James in 7th. Third row of the grid is the old Squadra Italia teammates from Season 3. It's Piero in 6th place, followed by myself, breaking into the top 5. An amazing qualifying from Kino, his best qualifying in his FVR career. He starts 4th place in the Nissan GTR. The Season 2 champion starts in 3rd place behind Cameron Hill in 2nd. And it's back-to-back podiums for Maurizio Veltois. It's a Toyota Supra 1-2. It's a Cabbage Crew 1-2. And the driver leading the Drivers' Championship is going to be leading the field down in towards turn 1. Maurizio has a 9-point advantage over Ate going into this race, and he is also 23 points clear of myself. Those are the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship, 77, 68 and 54 points respectively. I am just going to double check, make sure that we are live and I am not talking to myself. But I believe we are. Hello, welcome viewers to Brands Hatch. This race happened 4 weeks ago now. Can you believe how quickly the season has flown past? Let's quickly put an announcement in the chat to say we are live. So everyone who's watching the build-up to the Formula 1 can tune in to, I want to say 35 laps of Brands Hatch. But now I'm doubting myself and I think it's 32. It is 35. There you go. I might have made the calendar, but I certainly haven't forgotten how many laps there are in this race. Ooh, audio test. It's been a while since I've done a commentary. Can everyone? I think you can. We are all good to go for this race at Brands Hatch. And so without further ado, let's press play and get this race underway. It's the third running of Brands Hatch here in FVR. We built 5 red lights at this 3.9 kilometre circuit, and let's go battle at Brands Hatch. It's a bit of a wiggle off the line for Veltois. Hill tucks in behind his teammate going in towards the first corner. Not a long run down to the first corner. Kino's going to try and go round the outside. There's a Porsche wide. That's Piero, who's had a terrible start off the line. He drops down into 8th place towards the back of the pack. Ate down the inside of Cameron in towards turn 2. Marriott going to try and force Kino wide on the inside, and it's a brilliant start for Veltois. A terrible start for Hill, who drops 1 position in the first 2 corners. But everyone survives the opening lap. A couple of drivers running wide through turn 3, kicking up a bit of dust on the exit onto the racing line. Hill's going to try and send one back down the inside of Ate and gets behind his teammate, who's ran wide through Surtees, now down the back straight. It's the top 2 in the championship, side by side, Ate and Maurizio. Veltois with the inside line. There's a bit of contact between the Toyota and the Audi. The Finn's off the track. Marriott goes through on the inside and claims 2 positions in 1 corner behind James and Kino, battling as the Dutchman loses 1 position from his starting grid slot, now down into 6th place, but a brilliant start from him. Marriott up 3 positions in the opening 7 corners as they make their way down towards the 4th sector here at Brands Hatch. But the championship leader, with a brilliant start from pole, will lead at the end of the first lap, with Marriott in 2nd place, Hill in 3rd, Ate running off the podium now under pressure from Kino in the Nissan GTR, making his way down the Brabham Straight for the second time this this race, the first time at full speed. Heels off the track as he tries to go round the outside and marry it through turn 1, but the Brit defends that position in the special themed BMW M6 for this week. Both BCR drivers have opted for the British Racing Green as their primary colour for this British Grand Prix. Both the Jags aren't here this week that usually run in the that British Racing Green colour. On to lap 2 of 35. Let's talk a little bit about tyres. Most of the drivers starting on the mediums, including our current race leader, going purple to the 3rd sector. Bit of a gap opening up between the top 2 in this race. Veldhuis leads Marriott, who has Hill and Timgrim closely following behind. Kino has got a little bit of a breathing gap between himself and Kidwell in 6th place, who has actually started on the hard compound tyres. Pierre is looking to make up places after a slow start to this race, running wide through turn 1 on the opening lap. Has Tim in front of him and Weiss behind him in the Mercedes. Keen's dropped to the back of the pack after starting in 9th. He's had a bit of an incident. It's the new fastest lap of the race for Veldhuis, a 1:24.9. Pierre has gotten past Kidwell, who's actually into the pits at the end of the 2nd lap. So it's an aggressive strategy for the Brits. It's a very short pit time loss here at Brands Hatch. It's only about 10 to 12 seconds to change tyres. And you might be able to make up that delta during the course of a stint. And so this train now beginning to form behind Marriott. All 9 out of our 10 drivers are making their way down the back straight. Our leaders though going through Hawthorne Bend and into Wesfield. It's Veldhuis at the front of the pack in a familiar spot this season. He's picked up quite a couple of comfortable points this season. 3 wins from the first 4 rounds. We've had 5 races though. The doubleheader in Dragontail was able to pick up the win in the first race. And appears to be extending his advantage over the cars behind. It's a new fastest lap of the race, 24.6 compared to a 25.1. He's 5/10 quicker than the car behind him. I don't really think there is an optimal car around this circuit on the grid. I think the Supra would be quite handy if it gets track position. Maybe the Audi can excel in clean air. Currently Ate finds himself down in 4th place. It's a tricky track to overtake, but certainly not impossible. We've already seen quite a few position changes in the opening lap. Oh, Cameron's had a huge slide through turn 4. He's in the grass. He concedes the position to Ate, who now finds himself in a podium position. But a rare mistake from Cameron. He's dropped a position into 4th place. Ate now up into 3rd. He will be attacking Nathan Marriott for 2nd place and wants to try and close that gap to his championship leader, who is currently not only leading this race but finding even more time. Here at Brands Hatch there are of course 3 corners to the left and 8 of them to the right, and so tyre wear will be quite high on those left-hand tyres. And we'll have to wait and see how the strategy unfolds. In the previous few races it has been a dice-up between the 2 and the 3 stops. I think the 3-stop might be the preferred way to go here at Brands Hatch with its such short pit stop time loss. Good to see drivers opting for an aggressive stint on the mediums and only going a couple of laps on the hards. James Kidwell only done the opening 2 laps on that white striped hard compound tyres. The rest of these drivers around him though starting on the mediums, looking to go a little bit longer in this race as the sun begins to set down the pit straight, creating a rather beautiful atmosphere here at Brands Hatch. But we're a seventh of the way through the British Grand Prix. In the third outing here at Brands Hatch, Ate's picked up a 5/10 penalty, which will be costly and will bring Cameron back into this fight. Gives Marius a little bit of breathing room up in front. He's approaching the penalty line now. He will have to lift off the throttle for half a second. Usually you get a penalty and often double the time you get, and that is the time lost, but it appears that he's lost barely any time at all. When you look at the visual gap between himself and the car in front, he's only lost half a second off his personal best. So the penalty gate here, quite lenient it appears compared to other tracks. I often have this discussion during the course of a race, which track has the best and the worst penalty gates. Brands Hatch appears to be quite favourable, as Ate and Cameron starting to change careers from GT3s to potential rallycross, dipping a couple of wheels off the tarmac onto the grass. But both of them get away penalty free and can continue their pursuit of Nathan Marriott in front. Piero's got himself some clean air. He's back up into the top 5 after his excursions through turn 1. Kino only dropped 2 positions and might get a penalty for running all 4 wheels over the white line. He might get away with it though if he was deemed to have not gained an advantage. If anything, he has lost time, bringing Tim back into this fight for 6th place between the Porsche and the Nissan, both of whom are running in 2 solid positions, capitalising on other drivers being absent for this race. On to lap 7, we're now a 5th of the way through the British Grand Prix. Ate is a lot closer to Marriott through turn 1, but he's not close enough to try and go for a move in towards the first corner. Turn 1, turn 2, the best overtaking opportunities here at this GP circuit. So they make their way through Graham Hill Bend, down the Cooper Straight. Veldhuis with a comfortable lead in this race is slightly burning up his medium tyres compared to the Audi, but of course the Audi will conserve its fronts, burn through the rears, just like other cars, like the Lamborghini. But is keeping Marriott under pressure in the early stages of this race. We are on board with the Audi R8 in pursuit of the BMW M6. Flying Finn up against me. Of course, our Season 2 champion just missed out on winning back-to-back Drivers' Championships by 1 point over Jenson Taylor in that Deep Forest season finale 2 seasons ago. And is the only driver to win every Constructors' Championship in the opening 4 seasons of FVR GT. But as they make their way down Brabham Straight into Paddock Hill Bend, you can see the Audi R8 putting Marriott under a lot of pressure through the first corner. The Audi seems really confident through these medium speed corners, especially when we get to Druids, gaining a lot of time on the car in front. Cameron as well isn't really losing too much time to these two. Let's have a look at the last lap times, 24.8, 25.0, so Veldhuis is still pulling away, but it's not at the same rate he was at the start of the race, only 2 tenths quicker than the cars behind. Beginning to get the impression that maybe Ate is being held back behind Marriott. He could potentially be looking to save his tyres, save some fuel for an attack later on in the stint. Tyre wear here at Brands Hatch is quite important. We talk about it being a tricky track to overtake, but if you can create a tyre offset beyond the better tyre, you can really attack the car in front. It gives you such a huge advantage here. Cameron running a little bit wide under the bridge now into the final sector through Clark Curve. Ate still stays in 3rd place. Veldhuis continues to lead laps at the British Grand Prix. 4 British drivers, I should say, on this grid for their home Grand Prix. It's Marriott, holding the flag for Team UK. Ate having a look down the inside through Druids, but he couldn't quite find the drive he needed to get past. Mary under a lot of pressure from the Season 2 champion, making their way through Surtees. You can never remember what the back straight is called. I just know as soon as you dip down here, you're into Hawthorne Hill. Marriott having to go defensive. Ate trying to look for a move round the outside in towards Hawthorne Bend. He can't quite make it stick round the outside. Marriott parking that M6 in all the right places here to keep the Finnish driver behind. Frustration building perhaps for the Audi driver. He's 9 points behind the championship leader going into this race, and he can see the Toyota Supra getting smaller and smaller as he drives off into the distance. Yes, they're on the same bit of track. You can see the Toyota going through Clark Curve, but there is one car in between himself and fighting for race victory to try and reduce that gap in the championship. On to lap 10 of 30, and Cameron Hill is now closing that gap to the drivers in front of him. Pierre has been lapping rather consistently in 5th place. Tim's got ahead of Kino, now up into 6th place. James Kidwell on that alternate strategy, pitting early from the hards. He's already been catching Kino and Tim in this race in the battle for 6th place. We are now down to 9 drivers, and we have lost Weiss's Mercedes from the British Grand Prix. But up to our front runners now. The gap between these guys, but the gap between the 2 BCR drivers might be large enough for them for Marriott to pit and still come out ahead of his teammate. We'll have to wait and see how that strategy works for the Mercedes BCR driver. That looks wide from the M6 though. Ate's going to have the chance. He needs to get past the BMW. They're side by side through clearways into Clark Curve. Can he go right round the outside in the Audi R8? That's a brilliant move from the Flying Finn if he can make it stick. They're going to go side by side down the Brabham Straight. No, they aren't, because Ate's going to get ahead by the time they get to Paddock Hill Bend. Marriott, he turns attack to defence as Cameron Hill now tries to find a way past the M6, who looks for a move down the inside of the Audi, but he can't quite make it stick. Now then, the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship. Now the top 3 in the race here at Brands Hatch. Kino's into the pits over the hard compound tyres, releases James Bidwell up into 7th place. Marriott trying to find a way back past Ate, but you can see the pace difference already. Ate being released from being stuck behind that BMW. He's already pulled out a couple of tenths and a couple of corners. You can see the difference in the tyre wear, especially the front left and the rear left between the BMW M6, the Audi R8, the Supra, likewise with the M6 suffering on that front left tyre. This could be an advantage for Ate's Audi, especially through a lot of these high-speed corners in Sector 3 and 4. But when we get to Sector 1, Druids and Surtees, maybe 2 tricky corners for that Audi to navigate under traction. The Supras are in. Both Cabbage Groove drivers pit at the end of lap 11, and Ate will lead his first laps of Brands Hatch this season on lap 12. Veltroyce is in and out of the pits quicker than you can say macaroni and cheese. He's from the mediums onto the hards, and he's only dropped 2 positions down into 3rd place. He's got Piero behind him, running though on an old set of medium compound tyres. And you would expect, I think Piero could keep up with Veltroyce actually. The delta between the mediums and the hards at this phase of the tyre is probably getting close to the crossover point between them. Piero might actually look for a move. You can see the Supra on his right hand side. He's having to go defensive. down Hawthorne Hill. But Veldhuis is later on the brakes with the inside line, the fresher, hard compound tyres. Does Piero have enough life left in those mediums to attack the Supra? The former race leader here, the sun setting behind the trees. But Veldhuis keeps third place in this race. No one has won back-to-back British Grand Prix, and no one will win back-to-back British Grand Prix. Both of the previous winners in Rick Alders and Rami Azam aren't on this grid. Piero is into the pits, so we will have a new winner here at Brands Hatch. And well, with Veldhuis taking pole position as well, I should add, we've had 3 different pole sitters, 3 different race winners from 3 different races here at Brands Hatch. Only Rami Azam has got multiple podiums here at this circuit, and Ate Timgren is looking to join him in that exclusive club. He has 1 podium to his name here at this circuit. That, of course, came at, I want to say, season 2, when we were in Group 4, where he finished 2nd place behind reserve driver Rami Azam for that season. He looks, he's currently leading in season 5. And he does have Nathan Marriott close for company behind him, extending their stints on the medium tyres by 2 laps from when the 2 Supras pitted. The M6 starts over to the right hand side of the track, as does the Audi R8, and our 2 race leaders now into the pits. I believe it's Bridgestone's off the Audi, Dunlop's on the M6. And we got a splitting strategy between the top 3. Veldhuis has gone hard, Timgren on the medium, Marriott has gone soft. Now then, how will this unfold in the middle stint of the race? We've seen it many a time this season with drivers diverting strategy. I don't know if diverting strategy is the correct term, because there is no optimal strategy. Yes, you are new to the series and are wondering, why would you do 2 laps on the hards? For this season, drivers must tyre. And already at Blue Moon at Alsace, we have seen drivers starting on all 3 tyres, ending on all 3 tyres, some doing a 2-stop, some doing a 3. We won't know what is going on until they cross the checkered flag on the final lap of the race. So we find Marriott and Cameron Hill making their way into the final corner. Hill on the hards, Marriott on the soft. Whole 2 different tyre compounds between the 2, and look at the traction gained on the soft compound tyres by Marriott. They are side by side. It's a dead heat over the line, but with the inside line down in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Marriott moves himself back up into a podium position. Hill down into 4th. But the Brit in the Supra will gain the advantage back at the end of the race, when perhaps he's on the softs and Marriott is on the hards. This will be a fascinating end to the race. Piero has gone for a double set of the medium compound tyres, so he needs to use the medium, the softs and the hards. Kidwell's 2nd stint is coming to an end on those mediums, and he will need to go, I'm going to guess, soft medium or medium soft between now and the end of the race. Kian has started on those hard compound tyres, I believe, so he could be looking to go for a 2-stop in this race. How our front runners play this race, we'll have to wait and see. We've got all 3 tyre compounds in the top 3, the slowest at the front, the fastest at the back. And that applies to driver skill as well. But in terms of the championship order, it is Veldhuis who is going to extend his lead, picking up 22 points. If the race were to finish as it stands, he will gain 6 points over his already 9-point gap to Ate Timgren in second place. But the Flying Finn on the mediums is closing that gap to our race leader. Marriott on those soft compound tyres has got the fastest lap of the race. You'd hope so, being the only driver on the soft compound tyres at this phase of the race. And of course, being on the softs through the middle stage of the race puts you at risk of not getting the fastest lap at the end of the race, as you do carry more fuel. But the front two making their way through Wastefield Bend, down Dingledale. It's now Veldhuis, about a tenth or two clear of Timgren in second. The Dutchman feeling the pressure from the Finn behind. Ate trying to find his way past the Supra as quickly as possible. Doesn't want to get stuck behind a car running on hard compound tyres. Veldhuis pulls over to the right hand side of the track, defends through Clark's Curve. Now down the Brabham Straight. Immediately darts over to the right hand side of the circuit to defend that inside line, going through Paddock Hill Bend. Ate has a look round the outside. Veldhuis parking his car in the middle of the corner, going through turn one, and this has allowed Nathan Marriott to catch up to the top two on those soft compound tyres. How will he navigate his way past the two cars in front of him? Veldhuis defending for his life. The front two nearly side by side. Marriott trying to find a way through on the inside of Ate. Marriott's going to try and go right round the outside of Ate Timgren. Can he go all the way round the outside through Surtees? That's a brilliant move from the BMW M6. Now side by side with the Audi, ahead of the Audi and alongside the Supra. Down Hawthorne Hill, into Hawthorne Bend, late on the brakes, down the inside. The M6, 2 positions and 2 corners, capitalising on the 2 drivers battling behind. It's Veldhuis on the outside of Ate, trying to attack the championship leader. They still continue to go side by side down Dingledale into Sheen Curve, and it's Ate ahead before they get to Stirling's. The order completely flipped. On lap 16 they were 1-2-3, now they're 3-2-1. Marriott leading on the softs, Timgren in second on the mediums, Veldhuis in third on the hards. What a brilliant lap here at the British Grand Prix. And now a British driver will lead the home Grand Prix. I don't want to say for the first time this season, for the first time here at Brands Hatch, because I think Tyler has led laps here in season 1. Unfortunately was nicked to the line by Rick Alders. I will quickly fact check that. What am I saying? Cameron picked up pole in season 1, so he hopefully, I think for him, would have led to the opening lap in that race. He can of course correct me. If we dive into the archives, only 2 drivers led laps here in season 2. That was race leader Ramy Azam and second place finisher Ate Timgren. Season 1, Rick led every single lap of the British Grand Prix. So, another useless stat to my name, Nathan Marriott is the first British driver to lead laps in his home Grand Prix. Gotta tick one off the board if you're not going to win races consistently or championships. But I think the advantage on those soft compound tyres is quickly coming to an end. Ate Timgren putting a lot of pressure now on the M6 after the Brit took the lead on lap 17. He only held that privilege for 2 laps because here comes Ate diving it to the inside. Thought about it. Oh, goes for it. The door left wide open. The red carpet rolled out. They're now side by side in towards turn 3. Marriott defends it to the inside. Can Ate get the cutback through Cooper Straight? Or down Cooper Straight, I should say, into Surtees. Ate on the inside. Marriott going wide round the outside. He can really hold that line round the outside. Gets the drive on the exit into Pilgrim's Drop. That's the name of the straight. Now into Hawthorne Hill. The M6 holds the lead of the race. Frustrating, perhaps, for Ate behind. It's the second time in this race that he's looking at the back of that BMW M6 and struggling to find a way past. Ate with a lot more superior front grip than the BMW M6. Riding on board, his windshield is full of it, but I think we might see that car pull off to the right hand side of the circuit. No, stays out for another lap. And now down Brabham Straight for the 20th time this evening. Ate's going to try and work it round the outside of Paddock Hill Bend if he's to find a way through, but the defensive M6 leaves himself vulnerable on the exit. Now into Druids, side by side. It's the Season 2 champion up into the lead of the race. Marriott's going to look to try and send one back down the inside in towards Graham Hill Bend. But by the time that they're running down the Cooper Straight, it's the Finn in front. Marriott's not going to give this one up on those fading soft compound tyres as both the Cabbage Crew drivers pit at the end of lap 19 off of the hards onto the mediums for Veldhuis. It's softs for Hill. It's a split strategy down at the Supra camp, promoting Piero to a podium position. Now then, what's the strategy here? Is it to get Hill in front to battle Veldhuis? Not Veldhuis, sorry, why would he battle his teammate? To battle Tingram, sorry. That could be the play. Use Cameron softs to get ahead. Park the bus. Or will Veldhuis be the bus and let Hill pull away? We'll have to wait and see. The softs off of the M6, fuel going in, and the M6 is released behind the two Supras. Now then, this is not excellent news if you're Nathan Marriott. But does he need to pit again? Yes, he does. Marriott has not used the hards, and he has two cars in front of him who have. This is a similar situation to the one he found himself in Blue Moon's Bay Speedway Infield A, to use its full official title. It was looking like a battle between Veldhuis and Marriott for the lead of the race. But when all the pit stops were made, it was Marriott behind on the hards, Veldhuis in front on the softs. Not the order that you would have wanted that strategy to play out. Talked about the top five a lot in this race. The two BCR drivers running in 5th and 6th place. So good running for James as well as his home Grand Prix. Third best Brits on this grid. Well, in this race. The start rival between the British drivers. Team running closely behind in 7th place. Both on similar strategies, both running the medium tyres, both could be battling for that 6th spot by the time we get to the end of the race. Kean running a lonely place in 8th. As not only have we lost Weiss from this race, we've also unfortunately lost Kino, who is not going to see the checkered flag after starting a career best in 4th place. Started Austria in 5th. I think. Did he start Catalunya in 5th? spoiler alert, this race, no. I don't know. Kino started 5th and 4th in 2 consecutive races. Whether that was Red Bull Ring and Brands Hatch or Brands Hatch and Catalonia, I can't quite remember. But brilliant qualifying from Kino, who has actually improved massively this season. We'll give him credit for that. Of course, we are actually, at the time of streaming, the season finale is next week, so we do have a bit of catching up to do. But seeing as Kino's not going to get any more mentions from me tonight, as his car is in the garage or the gravel somewhere, I'm not too sure what happened. His qualifying performance has definitely seen a big improvement, not only from last season but from the start of the season as well. Let's pull up everyone's average qualifying. We do, of course, we keep track of every stat apart from teammate rivalries, but you can, I guess, work out your individual teammate rivalries. Teammates change, and I don't know if I really have time to do teammate rivalry stats all the way back from season 1. Average qualifying, though, let's have a look at Kino's qualifying. Let's look at everyone's qualifying, actually. Kino has an average qualifying position of 8.7 through in his whole FVR GT career, but has an average qualifying of 7th this season. So he's 1 position better than his all-time average, and that might not seem like a lot. But if I were to put if he qualified 7 next week, that would only change his all-time average by maybe 0.1 or 0.2. So he has definitely had a big improvement. Our best all-time qualifier, who has done more than 10 races, is Jenson Taylor. Average qualifying of 2.8. That is an incredible qualifying average, and of course he did start a couple of races from the back of the pack as well, which has, of course, massively impacted that average. Best average qualifier, though, this season, technically, is Matty. He's only done 2 races, though, so he does have a pretty good average qualifying. The honour of best average qualifier who has done most races is Maurizio Velthuis, average of 3.1, which is incredible. Incredible consistency. His lowest qualifying this season is 6th at Alsace. That was basically a given. The Toyota Supra at Alsace is probably going to be his weakest combination of this season. I would have probably put Brands Hatch and Catalonia in the downfall of the Toyota Supra. But in this race, it doesn't seem to have affected the Supra's performance. One of them's into the pits, following in the Porsche. Releases Velthuis into 2nd place. And Marriott back up into a podium position. They are released back out onto the track. I always find average qualifying is a very interesting statistic because it really does show raw pace. Of course, a car might not be suited to a certain track, but often when that is the case, there are some advantages. For example, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Supra WRX, no, not the Subaru WRX, sorry. 2 cars that will be incredible at qualifying at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, but will be terrible in the race. They have no straight line speed, so they'll get track position, but as soon as they have a BMW or a Supra, an Audi behind them, they'll fly by down towards turn 1, and it'll be tricky for them to make that position back. You look at Suzuka, the BMW M6, as we saw in season 4, was a very good car around Suzuka. Yes, it lost to Tyler Davison's Honda NSX somehow, because Tyler's a very quick driver. And so my excellent qualifying was undone by its terrible tyre wear at high speed. But that's where the BMW shines, high speed corners. And so with every advantage comes a disadvantage. which is what makes the FVR GT Championship such an entertaining season to watch. Yes, we might have one race where it's like this now. There's not much happening on track, but we expect that this season. Not much happens at this stage of the race, but by the end of the race, the different strategies come together. And I can guarantee you we will see some drama on the last laps of every single race this season. In fact, I'm going to quote that and say there has been drama in the last laps of every single race. Marriott was overtaken on the last lap of infield A. There was a spin in the last few laps of Alsace, and the top two battled to the line. Deep Forest, sorry, not Deep Forest, Dragon Trail was an unbelievable photo finish in the first race. Second race had carnage throughout, but good carnage. Race leaders Ate's in and out of the pits, onto the hards and into the lead. Veldhuis behind him on the mediums in second, should close that gap. The Red Bull Ring was always going to be a close race and had quite a lot of overtaking throughout it. And here, we have now reached that phase where the drivers at the front of the field are now on the slower tyre. What was the original point I was trying to make? Something about car performance. I don't know. I could talk for days. The World Endurance Championship should hire me for the 24 hours of Le Mans commentary, because I could do the whole thing. Give me some statistics and I could go on forever. Let's talk about Brands Hatch. We've had two different race winners from the first two races, Rick Alders and Rami Azal. We are guaranteed a new race winner from this race. Will it be Ate? Will it be Veldhuis? Could it even be myself? We'll have to wait and see. Only one driver in Rami Azam has won multiple British Grand Prix. Finished on the podium in multiple British Grand Prix. Ate does have one to his name and is the only driver who can make it two, I think. Don't want to quote me on that, but I'm not sure if Cameron picked up a podium in Season 1. He was certainly one of the front runners. No, sorry, it was Tyler Davison who was the British driver who picked up a podium in Season 2. Of course. So we are still looking for a British driver to win their home Grand Prix. I don't want to quote this and sound like an idiot, but I don't think anyone's won their their home Grand Prix in 5 seasons of FVR GT. Okay, yes, we go to Japan and we don't have any Japanese drivers, or any Swiss drivers, or any Belgian drivers, or any Croatian drivers. Who will be the first driver to win their home Grand Prix? List of candidates, we of course have the likes of Jensen, Taylor if he ever comes back. On this grid we're looking at Marriott, Hill, Kidwell, Davison to win at Brands Hatch, Reuven to win at Spain, Pierre to win at either Alsace, Circuit de la Sarthe, Sonqua. JD done one race at Mount Panorama. Of course, being American, he has quite a lot of tracks he could win. Here we go then. Ate's into the pits. He's going to filter out behind Cameron Hill. Now then, how will this race unfold? Kidwell and Tim have both pitted from the mediums. The Mercedes has less fuel than the Porsche, and the Dutch driver's going to get the jump on Kidwell. If James wants to finish in the top 6, he's going to have to make the move stick on track. Both of them on the soft compound tyres. It's going to be a showdown between those two. The top 3 now, Veldhuis, Marriott and Discern. Now then, we have a race on our hands. Can Veldhuis do a light to flag, well, a pole to flag victory? We're on lap 30 of 35, nearing the end of this race. Over the 14-minute mark, we've got about 10 minutes left, just less, here at the British Grand Prix. The third running of this circuit here at Season 5. The second time we've done it in the Group 3s. I can't remember for the life of me what car Rami was driving in Season 1. He liked the Honda. Not Season 1, sorry. What car Rick was driving. I think he was in the Mercedes when he won that race. So if Mercedes wants to win 2 British Grand Prix, it's going to have to be James Kidwell to do it from 7th place and quite a way back from the race leader. So unless a Honda miraculously finds himself on the grid, we're not going to have 2 manufacturers winning 2 British Grand Prix. Hill and Timgren going side by side through Dingledale. Hill managing to hold off the Season 2 champion. Frustration building. Ferrate, he's on the fresh soft compound tyres, and when the front runners pit, he wants to be in the lead of the race. We do have a car diving into the pits. It's Maurizio Veldhuis, his teammate, doing a brilliant job in holding up Ate, who's going to have to go round the outside through the final corner, through Clark curve, now down the Brabham straight. The Supra, the Audi, side by side in a battle for crucial points. Veldhuis is still in the pits. Hill late on the brakes, holds the position for now. As Veldhuis exits the pits behind his championship rival, his teammate is ahead of his championship rival. If Cameron can hold up Ate long enough for Maurizio to catch up, we could have a fight on our hands for the lead of the race. Ate going down the inside in towards Surtees. We'll get the move done on those new soft tyres ahead of Cameron's worn mediums. Cameron done the best he could, but it's not over yet. The Supra with the straight line speed will fight back into Hawthorne Hill. Tim late on the brakes, defensive to the inside, will hold the position. Can he now pull away through the third sector? Down Dingledale into Sheen Curve. It looks like he's got the position. Hill tried his best for his teammate, who will now have to make the move on track. He's about 4 seconds behind, 4 laps to go. Marriott leads from Piero. It's pretty close between these two. It's pretty close between our championship rivals. Marriott retains the lead of the British Grand Prix, but is yet to use the hard compound tyres. The car behind Piero in the Porsche has also got to go onto the hard compound tyres. Marriott sliding his way through Graham Hill Bend as those mediums and the softs on Piero's Porsche scream, begging for mercy as they make their way down Pilgrim's Drop through Hawthorne Hill. Marriott feeling he has to defend the lead of the race from his former teammates. Leaving the Squadra Italia team that was so successful in Season 3 for the fluorescent yellow of the BCR Esports team. Both of these drivers have had a very solid couple of seasons in FVR GT, both finishing in the top 5 in the last 2 seasons, both running in the top 5 this season as well. Piero triggering the undercut into the pits on lap 32. Marriott stays up for another lap. I say triggering the undercut, he was rather forced into that pit stop with 1 litre of fuel in the tank. We'll put on the hard compound tyres to finish this race. The little life left on those mediums might be enough for Marriott to stay ahead of the Porsche. The battle for 6th place is still fully alight between Tim and James, the two German manufacturers battling for a spot inside the top 6. That could be a battle that goes down to the wire. For the first time this race has Ate's Audi seen the back of Nathan's Porsche. That's a funny looking Porsche, taking up a similar design to the BMW M6. He's going to defend this position through Sterling's, but he won't be able to defend it. Ate with probably the easier of the 3 moves that he's made on that BMW M6, as Marriott now dives into the pits. Lap 34 of 35, Ate starts the penultimate lap of this race in the lead. He's 9 points behind his championship rival and will close it to only 3. If it were to finish as it stands, Marriott has come out of the pits ahead of Piero. But with the pace of the Porsche in the second half of this race, we could see those two battling out on the final lap of the race. Thank you to all the live viewers that are staying tuned in to the final few laps of the British Grand Prix. Whilst at this current time you're watching live, of course, the Singapore Grand Prix is underway. No spoilers, of course, of how that race is unfolding, but the true viewers are continuing to watch the final lap here at Brands Hatch. The sun has set here at Brands Hatch as Ate starts the final lap of the race in the lead, making his way through Paddock Hill Bend for the final time. This race is about 2 to 3 seconds ahead of his championship rival, the two who look like they're going to battle it out for glory here in Season 5. 23 points ahead of their nearest rival, who's running down in 4th place, battling it out with their former teammates for 4th place. Cameron taking the fastest lap point away from the FVR team, crucially away from Ate, and will score that extra point for the Cabbage Crew team, who look to extend their lead in the constructors' standings. Not long to go for Ate Timgrim here at Brands Hatch. He's got 2 more corners to go, one to the left, one to the right, before he picks up his first win at Brands Hatch. He didn't quite start this one from pole position, he didn't even start on the front row of the grid, but as the sun sets down the Brabham Straight, Ate Timgrim is unbeaten here at Brands Hatch. He wins his first British Grand Prix and closes the gap to Maurizio Veldhuis in the Drivers' Championship. Veldhuis finishing 3rd. Contact on the final corner. Piero's off into the gravel. Marriott will keep the position in 4th place. Veldhuis in 2nd, Cameron Hill in 3rd. But what happened between the two Squadra Italia teammates on the last lap of the race? I said there would be drama. The BMW has a terrible run through Sterling's, has to go defensive, and that is where there was contact between the Porsche and the BMW. Will the stewards need to get involved in that? It's 4th place for Marriott, 5th place for DAZN. Tim is going to keep Kidwell at bay. Just about a couple more laps. The Mercedes might have been able to get past if there was enough life left on the tyres. Tim with a very strong finish in 6th place. Kidwell in 7th. Kean will have a lonely finish in 8th place. But a brilliant end to the British Grand Prix. And there's a reason why we've been to this track 3 times in the last 5 seasons. Maybe it's time though to take a break from Britain, and next week we're at Barcelona for the second running of that layout. The chicane has been removed for the second time. Whether the drivers like that or not, we'll have to wait and see. Can Maurizio now extend his lead going in towards Barcelona, or will Ate be able to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship? We will just have to wait and see. I will leave you on one of the most beautiful pictures I captured from that race, the top 3 battling for the lead of the race. And there you have it. Those were your top 3. The race winner on the right, 2nd place on the left, and 3rd place just behind. I've been Nathan. I hope you guys have enjoyed this outing of Brands Hatch. Hopefully, throughout the course of the week, I will be able to get you the live streams from Barcelona, Tokyo, Lago, and then next week it's the season finale at Le Mans. Goodbye.